Okay folks, so today we are going to change the oil on a little green car because you know what, this thing just got done with a big long road trip and it hasn't had an oil change in quite some time, so let's get her done. Alright folks, so you're going to need a few tools for this but not too many, and I'll show you what they are. So what you're going to need here is this 1.25 inch. It's like a little half socket, not sure what they call it, but it's for the oil filter cap on the Ecotex. You're also going to need a socket wrench. I use a 1-foot extension, and then over here for the bottom, my drain plug has a 15 in it. Sometimes it's a 1/2 inch. Mine's an aftermarket one with a magnet on it. I believe the factory might be 1/2 inch, but don't quote me on that. 15 mil, and that should be all you need other than the oil. Alright, so first and foremost, what we got here, you got your oil filter cap right there, and we'll go ahead and just leave that alone for now, but this is why you need that extension. You got to get up and out around this, and preferably over this so your handle doesn't smack that when you make a spin. You're also going to need the supply jack for the car, or any jack. This one works a lot better on gravel than the others, so just slide this bad boy under here, stick a 7/8 socket on the end, and ratchet that bad boy in place. And for those of you that say, don't use an impact on that, you're going to damage the threads. I don't care. Alright, so I lied. This is a 1/2 inch. My Dodge Dakota is a 15 mil. So anyway, put that bad boy on there and crack her loose. Alright, now that we got that done, we're going to go for the oil filter. So I have found that the STP S9018R fits the best. You can get the gold ones, but on the gold ones, these little slots, I don't know if you can see right here, these little slots are much wider, and this thing in the housing rattles around. Sometimes it doesn't even stick to the thing. So I go with the S90 or 9018R, just the blue top. That's all you need. So I can get this guy out of here. Much easier than using channel locks. I used to use channel locks for this. It just chews the cap up. It doesn't do anything good for you. So, a trick here. I've noticed if you throw a rag over all this, it just kind of keeps it nice and clean while you pull this out. So we got it loose. Put this guy down in there. Up and out, straight in the can. Come on, man. There we go. Bust her loose. That's all she wrote for that. Now, while we wait on that and that to start dripping or stop dripping, I'm gonna take a little break and just let it go. You want to let all that oil get out. Obviously, for those of us that have done oil changes before, this video is not for you. But there's a lot of us out there that are just getting into cars, and you know, a lot of these newer, younger kids, they don't know really how to do much with cars. So this is kind of the idea that I'm trying to get behind this channel, is just showing things you can do. So an oil change is obviously something we can all do. So let's all do it together. Also, when you pull your filter out, make sure to stick it in this thing so it drains out the oil through the bottom. You don't want that being on your workbench or anything. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button down at the bottom. It's completely free and it helps me, so if you do that, I appreciate it. Alright, so a rule of thumb for me, whenever I do this, I like to start at the bottom and work to the top. So right now, the drain plug is unplugged on the bottom, meaning the oil just flows out. The cap is still off here. That was the second step. After you crack the drain plug, you crack the cap. Once you pull the cap off and you remove the oil filter, boom, there, then you crack the fill plug. Once you take the fill plug off, you just leave it. I just like to set it right here so I don't forget it, but it's right there. Set your filter somewhere where you can see it so you know you have a new filter that needs to go in, but don't touch it yet. So now the oil is drained. I'm going to go back under the car. I'm going to put the plug back in the bottom so that way I know that everything else is secure. Sometimes you can put this in and then you'll forget that the plug's not there. You pour your oil in, it just dumps straight out on the ground. You don't want that. So first and foremost, go under the car, stick your drain plug back in, and then come up and we'll deal with this. So by the way, folks, while you're under here, you're putting that drain plug in, it's also a good time to kind of look behind you back there and take a peek at what's going on. Notice my rust holes. It's okay. That's why we're body swapping this thing, because the car's still good, but she got some rust. But look at your fuel lines, look at your exhaust, kind of check on your rack and pinion, the axles, and you know, make sure your seals aren't leaking. It's pretty easy to see from down here, a little bit more difficult to see from topside. But yeah, just look for leaks. I don't see any. I'm ready to roll. Also, whenever you get done, I like to dump this into a bigger container. That way, as it's flowing in, I can look and I can see if there's any sparkly glitter coming out or anything unpleasant that we don't want to see. But yeah, I don't usually just leave it in this one. I'll pour it straight in there so I can kind of see what's going on with it. It doesn't look too terribly bad. That oil is very old too. It's kind of hard to see from this. That oil is probably from late June. I haven't really drove this car much, but there might be a little bit of glitter in there, but nothing I ain't too worried about. Onward. So I'm doing this oil change at 343,000, almost 44,000 miles. I think a little bit of glitter is going to be okay. She's earned it at this point. I ain't too worried about that. But with that being said, we now have this. We got to get that gasket off the bottom ring there. I'll show you the easiest way to do that. So after I get it out, I like to wipe the old oil out after it's kind of drained it out of the tub. Get the inside nice and clean there. But what you're going to want to do is take your little pick. Alright? Go up underneath this guy. We'll get in real close here with it. Let's see here. There we go. Look at that. So, I'm going to go up underneath it like that. Give it a little tongue under the pick. Zoom, focus. There we go. And then just kind of work it up and around. And there you go. So, take that off, put the new one back on. You don't need the pick for that, you just roll it down, but make sure it goes all the way back in that bottom tread there. If you set it up here, it will break that seal, and then you're going to blow oil all over your engine while you're driving. It's not fun. I've done it once or twice. Yeah, don't do that. So with the new seal, you're going to take a little bit of oil on your fingers, just put it on there, just rub it around, get a little bit of oil on it. You don't want to put these things in dry. They don't seat right, something like that. But it's not too important to get it like saturated. You just want to get it nice and slippery. You see, it just slides right on like that. Perfect. Now, this piece just goes in there. And you gotta push. There we go. You can see it, it'll spin, but it's in. Let's go throw it in the car. That's all you want to go. You don't want to go super tight on that. Just snug it down. It ain't going nowhere. It's plastic on metal. It's going to make a nice tight seal. All right, let's fill it up. Alright, for this I'm using Castrol GTX high mileage. I know people say it's garbage, but I've been using it for the past 15 years or so, and doesn't seem to be doing too bad for me. Back guy open, rip her down in, and I recommend a funnel for this. You should use a funnel. I like to live dangerously. I actually dribbled more than I usually do, probably because I was filming. That's usually how stuff like that works. But yeah, oh well, gives me a reason to have to wipe all that out. Haven't touched that in a number of years probably. So now I'm gonna throw the cap on it, start the engine, let it run for about 30 seconds or so, cycle everything through the system. Then I'm gonna come back out, I'm gonna check the stick here. I just put 4.5 quarts in. That's about what we'll need in the end. So I've done this so many times, I'll check the stick here in a minute. Let's check the oil. Kind of let it settle for a moment. This is just a relative, just to see what she's at. Alright. It's on the minimum, but I'll let it drain for a minute back into the oil pan and we'll see what she's at. Alright, let's check it one more time here. So yeah, we're at the bare minimum. I'm going to put the rest of this half quart or so in there, and it should top it right up. Look at there. Yeah. Yeah. 3 out of 4 bars. That's perfect in my book. Now, I will say, I'm going to say this right now, live to everybody, right now. Okay, this is the first time I have bought Castrol GTX high mileage 5W30 in a bottle with this logo. It looked a little bit different coming out. Also, I believe they gave me 1/4 quart less than I was originally getting, because normally I fill this up all the way to the 4th bar, so it goes to the full slot. And that thing will have about 1 quart, maybe a 1/2 quart, something like that, of oil left over. Now, it's probably just like everything else in the world, like the McDonald's larges get smaller and smaller and smaller, so they can put less and less drink in it and tell you that you're getting more. It's probably something like that. They're just going for profits. But that jug, right there, that jug, definitely, as of a few months ago, had at least a 1/2 quart more. Probably closer to like 3/4 quart more oil in it than this one does. It's shaped different, it has a different logo on it, something changed, but it is no longer 5 quarts. Even though it says 5 quarts, this car only takes 4.5 quarts. And I put in all 5 quarts, allegedly, into there, and we still need another 1/4 quart, it claims. So, I'm just doing my due diligence. I think they're shorting us on these. I think they pinched these handles down. Castrol, speak up now, because I'm pretty sure y'all pinched these handles down more, and I don't have another jug laying around here to put it up next to, but I guarantee that that holds less than the old ones, guys. But that concludes today's adventure. So, thanks for following along. Remember, hit that thumbs up, subscribe button down on the bottom. More easy content like this, as well as more advanced stuff later on in the future. I do have plans of doing interior stuff and exterior stuff and all kinds of stuff to the car that's back behind the house. So stick with me, and I'll see you next time, guys. This is the Cheaper Guy. Peace.